morning, students. Today again we will continue with our chapter number 2, elements, compounds and mixtures. Today we will study different type of methods for separating the insoluble solids from the liquids. Sedimentation. If the insoluble solid is heavier than the liquid in a mixture, we use the method of sedimentation to separate them. In this method, the mixture is allowed to stand for some time so that the insoluble heavy solids settle down at the bottom and the liquid forms a clear layer at the top. The process of settling down of heavy solids at the bottom is called sedimentation, and the solid that settles down is called the sediment. The clear liquid is then carefully poured into another container. Sedimentation is followed by the method of decantation. Decantation is the process of transferring the clear liquid into another container without disturbing the sediment. At home, the rice pulses soaked in water before cooking, and the water is separated by the method of decantation. This method used to separate insoluble solids from liquids is loading. Sometimes the mixture contains extremely small insoluble particles that take a longer time to settle. They can be made to settle faster by the process called loading. In this process, the fine insoluble particles in the mixture are made heavier by adding the chemical. It increases the rate of sedimentation. The chemical used is called the coagulating agent. Alum is a coagulating agent. Next method used to separate the insoluble substances from the liquid is filtration. Filtration is the process of separating the insoluble solids by passing the mixture through a filter. Filter is a device which consists of small holes. It allows the liquid to pass through the holes but retains the insoluble solids which are bigger than the holes of the filter. Strainers that we use to strain tea or soup are examples of the filters. Porous substances such as cotton, glass wool, unglazed porcelain, muslin cloth, charcoal, layer of sand, they can be used as filters to separate large quantities of mixtures quickly and efficiently. In laboratories, the filter paper is used in filtration. It is a special type of paper with very fine holes in it. It is folded to form a cone and is placed in the conical shaped funnel. The liquid passes through the holes but the solids are retained on the filter paper. The solid left on the paper is called residue, while the liquid which passes through is called the filtrate. Some special water filters fitted with the ceramic filter candles are used in homes, schools and offices for providing the drinking water. In cities, the sewage water is filtered through big metallic filters fitted at the mouth of sewage pipes to avoid choking of sewers. In the electrically operated water filters used in home, a chemical substance is used to soften the hot water. This water is then subjected to ultraviolet rays in another cylinder. These rays kill the harmful germs in the filtered water and the water becomes safe for drinking. Now we will do a small activity to separate a mixture of sand and water through filtration. For this, the materials required are sand, water, 2 beakers, a filter paper. Mix the sand and water in a beaker. Fold the filter paper in the shape of cone and place it in a funnel. filter the mixture of sand and water as shown in the figure. We will observe that the clear water is collected in the beaker, which is called the filtrate, and the particles of sand are left behind on the filter paper as the residue. We conclude from this that the sand particles, being insoluble and bigger than the holes of filter paper, get collected on the filter paper and water passes through it. Now we will do an activity to purify water by sedimentation, decantation and filtration. For this, the materials required are muddy water, 3 beakers, filter paper and a funnel. We take half glass of muddy water in a beaker. Let it stand for half an hour. We will observe that the mud particles settle at the bottom of the beaker. This process is called sedimentation. Without disturbing the mud particles carefully, the clear water is poured in another beaker. This process is called decantation. Now we use the filter paper and the funnel. Filter the water obtained after decantation. We will observe that the solid particles, if any, in the water remain on the filter paper and the pure water passes through it. This process is called filtration. So water can be purified by sedimentation, decantation and filtration. Now some methods to separate the soluble solids from liquids. There are some solids like sugar and salt which completely dissolve in water. When a solid completely dissolves in water, it forms a mixture called solution. Solids that can readily dissolve in the liquid are called soluble solids. To separate the soluble solids from the solution, we use the method of evaporation. Evaporation, as we all know, is the process of converting a liquid into vapor either by exposing it to sun or by heating. In this method, we heat the solution or leave it open in the sun till all the liquid evaporates, leaving behind the solid components. Evaporation is the mainly used method to obtain common salt from the seawater or the salt solution. Now let us do an activity to separate the common salt from a solution of common salt and water through evaporation. The materials required for this are the solution of common salt and water, a china dish, the wire gauze, a tripod stand and a Bunsen burner. Place the china dish containing the solution of common salt and water on the wire gauze placed over a tripod stand. Light the burner and heat the solution gently. We will observe that as the solution gets heated, the amount of solution begins to reduce, indicating the water in the solution is evaporating. When all the water has evaporated, we will find a white residue left behind in the china dish. From this we can conclude that the white residue left behind is the common salt. In this way, the salt is separated from its solution through evaporation. Separating the mixtures containing more than 2 components. Till now we have studied how to separate the mixture containing 2 components. But sometimes the mixture contains more than 2 components and we need to use more than one method to separate them. The methods of separation and the order in which they are used depend upon the different properties of different components, and thus one method of separation is preferred over the other method. For example, if we take a mixture of iron filling, sulfur powder and salt, we use the magnetic separation first to separate iron fillings from mixture. Then we add some water to rest of the mixture and all the salt will dissolve in it. Then we do the filtration to remove sulfur powder from the mixture. At last we evaporate the solution to separate the salt. Water obtained from the natural sources such as rivers, lakes, and seas may contain germs and other undesirable impurities. These impurities have to be removed to make the water potable. Potable means the water which is fit for drinking. The water is purified in the water treatment plants and made fit for drinking by using the various separation techniques. So in that, the first technique is sedimentation. Firstly, the water is collected in big tank and is allowed to stand for some time so that most of the suspended impurities settle at the bottom. Now, some chemicals such as alum or lime that bind themselves to the suspended particles are added into the water. This increases the speed of sedimentation and helps them to settle. The water after sedimentation is filtered by passing it through beds of sand, charcoal and gravel. This enables to separate the fine suspended impurities which are left behind after. The water obtained from rivers and lakes may also contain harmful germs. So after this process of filtration, they are destroyed by different methods to kill the germs. Air is passed under pressure from the bottom into the reservoir containing filtered water. Oxygen in the air oxidizes the organic matter and kills the germs. This process is called aeration. After this process, the chlorination is done. In this, the chemicals such as chlorine or bleaching powder are added to the filtered water to kill the remaining germs and harmful bacteria. Another method to kill the germs is ozonation. In this, the ultraviolet radiations and ozone gas or a combination of both are used to kill the germs. Water purified of impurities and germs is safe for drinking and is stored in the covered tanks from where it is supplied to the residential areas through a network of underground pipes. Thank you.